Hi, welcome to Mercurius Being. I am Amy Jensen with your astro update for the Aquarius new moon, which is exact on February 9th at 4:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the wild card, Uranus in Taurus, is that it's February 2nd and I'm outside in Minnesota with no gloves or hat on. As I said in an earlier video, a friend of mine had said, you should shoot your videos outside all year long. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm totally going to do that. And then it got cold and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. It's too cold. So who knew? So I always think of the wild card energy, or I had been thinking about that with Uranus and Taurus, Taurus being the earth and Uranus, again, shaking things up. I usually associate it with more like tragic things like the flooding recently in Southern California or the big ice storms in the Pacific Northwest, kind of those types of things that are, very negative and disastrous. But this is equally as wild card, probably disastrous if one is a skier or a snowmobiler. But since I am not, I do enjoy a little skiing, but since I am not and I like to run errands and take walks, this is lovely. As long as our plants and our trees can handle it, it's a nice reprieve this year. So there we go. It's February 2nd as I record this, and I am outside in Minnesota. Who would have thunk? So along with it being the Aquarius new moon on February 9th, it is also Chinese New Year. And Chinese New Year is always the same time as an Aquarius new moon. So it just aligns with that each year. It's a lunar calendar as opposed to the Gregorian calendar. And at some point, I think I'd like to do a video on the different calendars that exist, because I know a few lunations ago, I believe it was in Stephanie Austin's newsletter, she mentioned something about the old calendar before the Gregorian calendar, starting in April and being a 10-month calendar, and then having the last 2 months. And I can't remember then if she said those were like an add-on in the Roman Empire. But anyway, interesting to think of the calendar as a 10 cycle number instead of a 12. And then if we have more of a lunar calendar, it would be a 13 period cycle. Although the Chinese zodiac has 12 signs as well. And I don't know anything in particular about the Chinese zodiac, except that this year we are in the year 2024. On February 9th, we will be beginning the year of the wood dragon. And it's the 5th of 12 signs. So if you were born in 2024, after February 9th, 2012, 2000, 1988, 1976, 1964, 1952, and 1940, and 1928. I'm sure there are some of you around as well. You are all dragons of one type or another. So dragon is the only mythical animal in the Chinese zodiac, and the Western zodiac, Libra is the only inanimate sign or glyph or association with that. So each of the calendars having one designation that's a little different than the others. So the dragon is mythical, it's auspicious, it's connected with a supreme being or creature, a power to control wind and rain, soar through the skies, turn over rivers and seas, and bring prosperity to the world. Dragons are associated with communicating between heaven and earth, and the humans would ask the dragon to go and ask up to the heavens to bring wealth and plentiful harvests. So the story of the dragon and the order of the Chinese years. So apparently the Jade Emperor, this is very paraphrased, had a race between all the animals to see what order they would come in. And they thought, well, for sure the dragon's going to come in number 1. It can fly. It's pretty awesome. It can do all of those things. But it got started. So the rat was the early riser. Rat is associated with Aries, and it is the first sign in the Chinese zodiac. And the diligent ox, the Taurus, were both up early, but the rat couldn't cross the river. So it waited around, hopped on the ox's ear to cross the river, and then jumped off when it was nearing the finishing line and crossed first. Okay, and then the ox. And then the tiger came next, which is associated with Gemini, and then the rabbit came in fourth. They were very fast, and then the dragon was fifth. But, of course, the dragon could have won. It could have beat all of those. But he paused along the way to help a village. First of all, he came upon a village that was suffering a drought, and he flew across the clouds and made it rain to stop the drought. Then he saw another village that was threatened by a flood, and he opened up his mouth to absorb the water and moved the floodwaters to the sea, saving the village. Okay, and then next, the dragon saw the rabbit being chased by a wolf, and so he dealt with the wolf and saved Rabbit, letting him go on ahead. So, through dragon's generosity and care for others, as is his nature, dragon came in fifth, and the dragon would be associated with our sign of Leo. So having that magnanimous leadership quality. And then the quote I came across for this, strength is a gift to be lent, not a power to be wielded, which is the message for the year. And I will find where I found that and include that in the bottom. Specific colors exist for each Chinese zodiac year, and then for each of the signs that we may be, have specific colors as well. But just in general, for the Dragon New Year, lime green is a good color to wear. It is symbolic of growth and nature and rejuvenation. Bright yellow is the color of the sun. It's the color of warmth and energy, and the color yellow is connected to the dragon. Metallic gold is also associated with the dragon, and gold jewelry as well, and they're also symbolic of wealth and success. So I just feel like we've got a nice auspicious start to this Chinese New Year and the Aquarius new moon, and I'll show you the chart. There's a little bit of a breeze, so I hope my papers don't go flying. If you can see that. So we have the sun and moon, and again, wherever you live, it might be a little different depending on the houses and all of that. So this is just a general overview. We have the sun and moon at 20 degrees Aquarius, 40 minutes. We have Uranus, the tailing edge, and Venus at the leading edge. Uranus in Taurus, Venus in Capricorn, and we have a locomotive pattern. So all of these planets kind of condensed, and so a locomotive planet pattern is kind of like just like a train, right? Starts really slow, but once it gets going and once it gains momentum, it's very powerful. Lots of accumulated force behind it, like a strong, like momentum, strong and slow momentum, which builds. And of course, I'm getting the image of metallic wheels of the train. And if you may have noticed in my past videos, I keep using, I've been drawn, mechanical images keep coming to me as I'm exploring these. And over the last 9 months or so, I think I mentioned big gears, and before that, kind of big water, this cosmic, oceanic, big waves of energy. I don't know if you've seen any of the documentaries about big wave surfers and that just ginormous wall of water that they surf. But as I said, over the last 9 months, it's kind of shifted into this image of really big gears. Metallic, man-made, the image of engines, and the force of motors and gears, okay? I am going to back up now and dip into the Sabian symbols, but I'm going to go back to the image of the gears and the calendar as well. But let's just explore the image or the Sabian symbols from Lynda Hill. I use this book so much it's kind of falling apart. 4, we'll round up to 21 Aquarius. A woman, disappointed and disillusioned, courageously facing a seemingly empty life. At first I was like, ooh, hashtag red here, R-E-A-D. I'm joking, but anyway, I'll go forward and you'll see what I mean as the joke, but a little truth to it, right? So the oracle, there can be feelings of wasted energy, trying to achieve something against the odds while creating only failure. However, it is always important to look on disappointment and loss as a teacher. The feeling or belief that one will never have the life they want can lead to exactly that outcome. Trying to be objective can help, as things could improve far beyond your expectations or dreams in the future. As they say, while there is life, there is hope. And we always have something to strive for and achieve, if only we can have faith in it. Courage is a key to recognizing the fullness and beauty of life, regardless of how others see it. The biggest barrier to overcome is the bitterness and barriers that can arise. There may be someone else who really needs your support. Reconnect with what is available and possible in your situation. Although it requires courage and faith to get back on track, we always return to life with greater wisdom and understanding, realizing one's limitations, but doing so with a sense of purpose and hope will help ease matters. Try turning doom and gloom into faith, inspiration, and thanks for what is possible and is available, and watch how things improve. Keywords: breaking through illusions, facing stark reality with hope, loneliness and depression overcome, positive outlooks, counting one's blessings, looking towards the future, having to battle through relationship losses while maintaining a sense of self and purpose, turning points reached, having a belief in miracles and causing joy, but choosing joy. The caution: wallowing in failure, not seeing the joy and beauty of one's life, accepting defeat, feeling like all is lost, bitterness, walling oneself off from others, not trusting people, finding nothing to be happy about, feeling deserted and alone, not letting go of the past, injuries, infertility, incurable diseases, unrequited love, the loss of the partner, staring into space, being a sad old person. Okay, we do not want any of that, do we? Of the cautions. But I just thought it was an interesting thing after all of the foundational energy. We're 20 degrees into Aquarius already. This seems to have been going quite quickly. But Aquarius is the other half of the root chakra. So Capricorn is on the feminine side, receptive side, no gender, just the receptive side, and Aquarius on the receptive. I can't think of a great way to put it. I said not the masculine, but the more the centrifugal side, the side that pulls us out more. There we go. But the danger of getting bogged down in the root chakra, or viewing the past or the stuckness or whatever we may have. But knowing, again, I think I mentioned, if it was not last time, it was the time before, about the mountain goat and the journey to the top of the mountain. So we have here in Aquarius this focus in Aquarius in general on each of our individuality and uniqueness. I would almost say, this is a stretch, but there's a Dharma energy associated with this as well, because only I can do my Dharma, only you can do yours, and no matter how seemingly small or how seemingly large that is for each of us, It is unique to each of us, and so to not focus on the things that didn't turn out as we expected, but to focus on the things that did work out, or the wisdom we have gained, or how we are flowing and focusing that which is unique within each of us. Okay. I wanted to do and not only that, I will do. I am going to do the Sabian symbol for Uranus and also for Venus. So Uranus, the trailing edge of our configuration, and the modern ruler of Aquarius. So we have Taurus 20 for this. Wisps of clouds like wings are streaming across the sky. The oracle portion, you may feel driven forward, almost out of your own control. In doing so, you run the risk of either going past things too quickly or tiring if you try to resist the momentum of forward push. It may be best to let the superficial excitement affect you and then be prepared to go back and sort out the details later. However, there can be a danger in making decisions and taking action too quickly without enough consideration. You may find that you have no choice. You have an opportunity before you, and it could feel like it's now or never, and you must seize the day. Another element of this symbol is that there can be very little actually going on around you, but there is so much going on over your head. Your imagination is active, but perhaps you are not really aware of it. You may find that your mind is working out what to do in this situation, and in the next day or so, the coin will drop. Enjoying the pleasant weather around you and allowing the natural energies to blow away the confusing aspects of your life will lead to things being sorted out before too long. Okay. And then the aspect, I'm just double checking, making sure the light's okay. If it gets a little weird here and I don't notice it, that would be unfortunate. We have Capricorn 22 for the position of Venus, which is the leading edge, again, same as last lunation for this configuration. The Sabian symbol for this degree is a general accepting defeat gracefully. There's an old saying, winning or losing doesn't matter as much as how you play the game. Through the acceptance of defeat, one can often discover important and valuable life lessons. Merely making excuses can lead to the same mistakes being made again and again, when there is no longer any point in pushing matters. At a time of surrender, it is the way the situation is handled that will that will be remembered the most. It is how gracefully you handle defeat that will be the measure of your inner worth, both to yourself and others. Sometimes it is wise to concede when the victory or the prize is more valuable for your opponent than yourself. Admitting that one is lost or is prepared to give up can free you up to get on with your life and more rewarding adventures. Learning from defeat can bring strength of character. On a deeper level, defeat shows us that we are neither perfect nor indestructible. Is the objective, battle or conflict, really worth winning or pursuing? Going for revenge, greed, or glory can often prove to end up as badly as things can turn sour. Sometimes pushing your agenda can hurt your cause, and it's better to back off and hold your tongue. Struggling to have your point made or accepted may be self-defeating. This can happen in simple everyday situations such as conversation with others, not understanding what you're saying or doing. Realizing that you're not going to change others can lead to being able to accept things in a better light. Okay, so there is just a lot of acceptance surrounding this lunation, the acceptance of just how things are. Okay, sirens, I don't know if you can hear that, but also thinking back to the Uranus symbol of the quickness and the reactivity, or the taking the leap and doing. And then the Venus has a little more of this reflective quality, like maybe the results of things that didn't turn out as well. And then really going back to it, really the Venus degree really affirms more the degree of the sun and moon at this time. So while it is a new moon, and new moons are for making intentions, planting seeds, starting anew, there is a lot of reflection, looking back, but not getting caught or depressed while looking back, but looking back and accepting, being graceful, not trying to push our point forward. And I learned that again and again and again. And also accepting that, just even today within myself, I'm like, oh, I did not handle that very well. And that's okay. Like, I didn't hurt anybody. It wasn't that. But it was like, I just mucked something up a bit. I didn't handle it as gracefully as I had liked. But I had to just go back to the energy of, oh my God, like, that's okay, right? This idea of, imperfection and perfection and humanity, and then starting with myself, like accepting and just acknowledging, like, yeah, that didn't go that great. Okay. And then looking to someone else who may annoy us, or whatever the situation is, accepting and acknowledging that perhaps that didn't go as well as they had planned. We're just all humans. We're just working on this, right? So there is this level of humanity I keep coming back to. I'm going to full circle this. So we have the mechanistic, big gears moving, right? A lot of energy moving forward. We have us as humans, as unique individuals, as little sparks of the divine within each of us and within everything around us. And we have the fallibility of being human, right? We just do our best, okay? So I had written earlier, like, digging deep into our strength. Our strengths are those that we've learned from life's losses and disappointments, besides our victories and our enjoyment. So kind of feeling like this zigzagging energy, right? We're digging into our strengths. Our strength is from life losses and our learnings, but then like zagging out of that, thinking of the zigzag pranic energy, cosmic waters of Aquarius. Prana is life force. So thinking of Aquarius energy as breaking up stagnation, okay? Breaking through the negativity associated with life's lessons and disappointments, and breaking through to the energy of what did we learn? How can we respond? How can we be ready for the next opportunity? How can we be open to something that's going to come out of the blue? Just being there and not expecting ourselves to be perfectly ready or perfectly perfect. Like Mary Poppins, right? Was she perfectly perfect in every way? I cannot remember, but there you go. But just coming into our individuality. Okay? So, the stagnation, breaking it up, but allowing ourselves the ability to identify the stagnation within each of us, okay? And I had written down here, like, if you think back to your 11-year-old self, like, oh gosh, gee, darn it, I hope I'm 58 someday and just really stuck in stagnation and just kind of unhappy with things in my life. Like, wow. I don't think that our little kid selves would have felt like that, right? So identifying where, I'm just throwing this out there, but like, so I'm not stuck and unhappy, but one can get stuck and unhappy, right? All of us can. So just identifying where we get stuck and unhappy, or stuck and hopeless, stuck and resistant, stuck and stubborn, right? Stuck and immovable, stuck and waiting for someone to apologize, stuck in our own beliefs, like I am right about this and I'm not budging until they change their mind. Okay, you get it. So just reflecting on stagnation, accepting what it is, and forgiving yourself for getting stuck. We are humans and we all have those karmic proclivities, and I know I said that last time. All right, so going back to the calendar, whatever calendar we might use, Gregorian, the Chinese, even the zodiac, the tropical zodiac, the sidereal zodiac, these are all ways in which we as humans mark time. This is the way that we as humans impose the context of time, measurable, definable, on nature or the natural world. As if our natural world needed that, right? The imposition of humanity's brain and will on the natural world. Okay, and I'm not going down the whole rabbit hole of how or when this happened, but somewhere along the line, humans quit using spears and arrows and knives, and maybe poisons to kill one another. And then humanity got increasingly more sophisticated and wider and broader in its range and ability to kill each other and cause destruction. A huge push of mechanistic, quote unquote, improvements and technological, quote unquote, advancements. For instance, the Industrial Revolution, and that was the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, 1778 to 1798, forming of the United States, and the United States being a very Aquarian enterprise. The French Revolution, whose motto was liberty, equality, and fraternity, all very Aquarian principles. And our lives, yes, oh my gosh, so many levels, are so much easier because of all of the technological developments. I'm not saying go back in time and give it all up, but kind of that idea of more tech, more problems could also be applied, right? So maybe, more tech, different problems. So we can kill each other in a zillion different ways now and kill more people more effectively. But what about the human heart? What about our ability to love? Have we learned how to love more effectively? Have we learned how to love each other in a zillion different ways? So our human heart and humanity just can't and hasn't, it can evolve the heart, etc., but it hasn't, this physical matter hasn't been able to evolve as fast as technology. Maybe we're taller and bigger than we were in the 1700s. I don't know if you've ever been in historical homes, buildings, or seen like in history museums, like the little tiny shoes and little tiny clothes that they wore. I'm like, okay, we have grown physically, nutrition and all, I'm sure. So that's increased. But as humans, as basic consciousness, basic, expansive, wonderful, amazing, ever-evolving consciousness, we are still the same models, right? And that disparity between shiny and fake and metallic and filtered reality. And then we have the real reality of the real, each of us, shining through self, each of ourselves, unfiltered realness is at quite a great chasm. There's quite a great chasm between the two, quite a great disparity. So it's kind of the idea of having everything and having nothing, right? Kind of a heartlessness and emptiness can result. But we do have everything, no matter if we have nothing, okay? We have everything inside of ourselves. We do have a heart which beats night and day, whether we acknowledge it or remember, and until it doesn't anymore. But it beats every day and every night in real time, which is measurable by the passing moments, by the sun in the sky, the clouds, the feelings, the awarenesses of your day, your month, your years. So that Aquarius energy of equality, we are all equal. The sun shines upon each of us equally. That is a divine right, inherent in being alive, no matter how any outside conditions of your life might try to define you. We are all 100,000,000% equal. We are free. We have liberty to be individuals, whether it's necessarily safe in every place in the world to express that freedom, but be free within our minds and within our hearts, no matter where we are and under what conditions we find ourselves. And then that idea of friendship, of groups, of collaborations. Aquarius is archetypal ruling of the 11th house. What can we create together? What can my heart, brought to your heart, bring about creatively? Sharing of ideas and inspiration. So, at this new moon, just pondering, how can you let the energetic waters of life flow through you? To be you, to express as yourself and with your unique gifts. And just sharing this you-ness. It's like turning up the volume knob of shining individuality out into the world, no matter how you pronounce it. And this isn't loud. It doesn't have to be loud, and it doesn't have to be staticky. It doesn't have to be forced. And you don't have to try to beat the drum and get people on your bandwagon. No force, no manipulation, no agenda. Can you let that just flow through you and out into the world? And just share this shining self and viewing this as an invitation, okay? Just an invitation just to be who you really are. Thank you for joining me. As always, I appreciate you, and please take care, and I will be back at the next lunation. Namaste.